What, are you telling me you don't think animals deserve to be abused?
No.
Why not?
Because they don't.
No, I'm an animal lover. So.
You're an animal lover?
But I still kill
They all
them.
have fucking lives.
Sorry?
I still like go fishing and shit.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the solution if you don't want to be responsible for animal abuse, eh?
In reality, that's never going to happen.
No, because you can still be the first step to that not happening.
Exactly. What? Everyone thinks... What, are you telling me you don't think animals deserve to be abused?
No.
Why not?
Because they don't.
What is it about animals that makes you feel like they shouldn't be
Wait,
abused?
do you actually believe that?
The whole of society believes it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you probably do as well.
No.
No?
No, I'm an animal lover. So.
You're an animal lover?
But I still kill
They all
them.
have fucking lives.
Sorry?
I still like go fishing and shit.
Hold on. I think we need to address that. You're an animal lover, but you still kill animals.
Yeah. Well,
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Well, because I do it like conservatively, you know, like I don't go with a kill net or anything.
Do you think that you could apply that to any animal you wanted? Like, I kill this animal and I love it. Like, if we applied that to, let's say, puppies, would that make sense to you?
But they're not like an eating animal, so you don't go and eat a puppy.
Why not?
I mean, obviously.
How do you determine which animal is for eating and which one's not?
I guess that's just your preference, really.
Yeah, your preference based on
What you like and what you don't like.
in that definition of love that you told me, it kind of sounds quite conflicting because you're telling me you love animals, but animals also deserve to be abused for my preference or something. What would you
say? Like, if you go out fishing, I guess, catch a couple fish for a feed, you kill them straight away, they don't get any harm done to them.
Can you explain to me what has to happen to a fish for you to get it on the boat? To slit its throat?
You got a hook in it, yeah.
It's just stressful.
And you were talking about no harm, right? Yeah, right. So it has to get hooked through its mouth, get dragged by its own body weight through the water, go up to the air, suffocate for a while before you're able to... They can't breathe air, right? Yeah. So in their case,
She's bad at arguing.
But I mean, like, definitely the commercial shit, that's fucked.
But you're vegetarian, are you?
No.
You're not vegan, so you still eat
Vegetarian.
meat yourself.
No. Vegetarians don't do anything for animals, basically. They still pay for animal abuse.
But, so you eat animals.
No.
So you're like vegan.
So you're vegan.
There you go. I'm just against animal abuse.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So that's animal abuse, if you know what I mean, like gill netting and
Do you
stuff
think
like
it's
that.
only animal abuse when it happens to many? Do you think it's the number that determines the abuse, or
the consumption of the number, if you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
the vessel going out, there's fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's not.
But would you say even if it happened to one, would you not define it as abuse, or
Well, I mean, we've got to eat to survive at the end of the day, you know, like.
do you think that you need to eat animal products specifically to be happy or healthy in this day and age?
Well, it depends what kind of person you are. Like, I mean, you go to the gym, you need protein, you know, like you can't get it just from eating like a piece of broccoli. And even though it does have protein in it, but
Yeah. So do you think you
can't eat.
can't get enough protein from from plant foods?
No, you can.
Yeah, so you can, right? Yeah.
You can.
So would you say there's no actual necessity of eating animal products? Apart from things like pleasure or convenience?
Oh, it's hard to argue, you know, like.
What do you think?
I guess
That shit's sad.
in a sense it's
Like, what is it about animals that makes you not want to see them suffer?
well, it's
Because
just
they're
how
living creatures.
Yeah? But what is it, like they're living creatures, but we also say it's fine to kill them as well. So what do you think is the difference in those animals compared to, say, like you said something like a puppy, you don't eat puppies. What's the difference between, let's say, a pig and a puppy that says it's wrong to make either of them suffer, but it's okay to kill the pig that you see on the screen there, but it's wrong to kill the puppy? In the same way, best case scenario, we shoot it in the head and it had no idea.
well, people do trouble.
Yeah. Do you think that's a morally okay
There's not more
action?
okay, not to eat puppies.
Why? So that's why we need it.
And it is a pig. Like we love, like we own pigs and stuff like that. We raise,
Yeah?
she raises pigs and
To
we love
eat.
them. Yeah, to eat.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
have a good
But
life.
why can't I
Yeah.
say the same thing about eating puppies, right? Why can't I raise puppies to...
Oh, you can. You go ahead. You know, but
Yeah.
it's not like.
But you just said it would be like an immoral action to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could go back 1,000 years. You know, in most of the country or the world or whatever, they're not eating puppies. They're eating pigs.
Do you think that the length of time that we've caused harm justifies doing it today?
I
No?
guess. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
If we look back into our history,
yeah. If you look
we think
back,
of-
it's been a normal thing. I mean, it's either way. You can
Yeah.
argue both sides. Why?
Can you think of any other injustice in history that has lasted for a long time that we now consider immoral because of our societal progression?
Murder, I guess.
And how would you feel about people justifying those things in the same way that you said because it's been happening for a long time?
Well, of animal abuse. Well, and it's only. This is a new frequent thing. I agree with what you're arguing with. You know, like back in the day, they didn't go out and like. But it's not.
I
an
mean,
immoral thing
let's
to
say
do.
back in the day they needed to do it for their survival. I would
Yeah.
say in that case,
Yeah.
although I'm not entirely happy with it, fine. But in this day and age where people are going to restaurants in the city, yeah, it's consumption purely for pleasure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So would you guys say yourselves are against animal abuse or?
Yeah.
100%, wow. Do you think that you could truly be against animal abuse while paying for products that necessitate animal abuse?
Yeah. Like, it's definitely obviously now because we don't own our own home, we don't have our own land, we can't grow our own pigs. We do have mates who have boats and stuff like that, and we go fishing. And
I guess like
You think your only option is to eat those animal products or?
if you grow it yourself and like you're sustainable in growing your own meat and you make sure that they're happy and they're having a good life, I think that it's okay. But like
Okay,
commercial farming and shit like that, I don't really agree with it.
okay. In the scenario that you were proposing, right, if you give them a good life, if you make them happy, so to say, if you were in that position, how would you feel about someone doing that to you? Allowing it as a moral action
well,
or morally acceptable action. How would you feel about that? Would you consider it abuse to yourself if someone were to treat you in the same way that you're discussing treating animals?
that's a living thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's part of life, you know. Not every single
Part of
day.
the food chain. I don't know.
No, it's not. Well, it's
And
part
if
of
anyone said that the same thing to you, like if you were truly in these animals' positions, would you be okay with all of these reasons why it's okay to abuse them used in the same way for you? You probably wouldn't be okay with that, right?
No,
Yeah.
but that's an obvious thing. People in the same way get treated wrongly every single day. Slavery still is.
Yep,
still
that's
abuse.
true. To get to the point we are now,
Yeah.
do you think that those things happen a lot less because people are like, you know, these people are abused, so these people are abused, who cares about it? It's going to happen anyway.
No, but we don't know that. We can see that. You can
Yeah.
see that. You know, you don't see that the other spectrum of it actually happening every day. You know, like,
Yeah,
it's
but-
great that you guys are making people.
Yeah, but once you become aware of it, you do become morally culpable for those actions you take after becoming aware of it, right?
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know, like that's the whole thing of it. You know, like we don't grow chickens like that. We don't raise them like that. We don't grow pigs like that. Nor do we even fish like that.
In that case, we're kind of ignoring the fact that we've already said we don't need to eat animal products to survive or be healthy, right? So at the end of the day, what we're saying is that we can respect animals by killing them even though we don't need to.
So you go back in history, you take away every single meat product in the world.
I'm not saying that we should have done that, but I'm talking to you today
But
in
even-
the 21st century.
Even today, you know, like
Today,
places in Africa or anything like that, you know, sometimes that one cow that they do have. Or
do you think
something
that's okay to appropriate other people's positions of misfortune to justify your own harm to others? Because that's kind of, I don't know if you're using that as a justification or just saying that as an example, but I'm talking to you about your consumption and you're saying, oh, there's people in third world countries, but
Yeah.
that obviously doesn't apply to you in a position of privilege in a first world country.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not necessarily a justification, right? You're just pointing out that fact.
But what's your what are you trying to say?
So basically, let's go back to the drawing board. Do you think that you could truly be against animal abuse while paying for products that necessitate animal abuse?
No, obviously not, because
No.
we're funding the
Yeah.
basis for it.
Yeah. So if you no longer wanted to be party to animal abuse, what do you think you could do personally about it?
Well, obviously, stop eating McDonald's.
Yep.
It's the first step.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know, like.
But again, with the animals that you personally raise, do you think that, again, like you could have the position that animals don't deserve to be abused and raise animals to kill to eat when it's not a necessity for you?
Well, what are we going to do with all the pigs in the world?
Just what are we going to do with all the dogs that don't get eaten as well?
Well, we bury them, but, you know, like.
Just let them live their lives, right? Because the only reason these animals exist is because they're bred to match the demand of the consumer.
And that's
Correct?
picture. But like,
Yes.
I mean, you go back to religion, you know, like the Lord put us on this world to eat, you know. Like, he put
Sorry?
every single animal for us to consume and to eat. And the Bible,
In what religion?
in Christian,
Oh, okay.
Christianity.
Do you think that God would appreciate slaughtering animals when it's
Wouldn't
not
appreciate
necessary?
it, No.
But any harm to God's creatures, right?
Yeah.
They're his creatures that Christians would say are to be treated with respect. But do you think that respect would include killing them when it's not necessary?
Well, if you're speaking in that picture, you say it's necessary. Like, what happens to every single chook or every single pig that gets killed in that factory? It goes out, there's supply and demand, it meets demand,
Yeah, yeah,
and obviously gets eaten.
yeah.
Is it necessary for that consumption? Maybe not, but I mean, they still will all get eaten, you know?
No, because a large majority of these animals will die, as you can see, they die on the farm without getting to anyone's plate. And those deaths are all on the hands of consumers who pay for it to continue to happen.
Yeah.
So they're, unknowingly, they think they're only buying one chicken that they're paying to die, but they've got the backs of all these animals that they've also...
That happens out in the wild too, you know, like obviously not a...
Obviously animals die in the wild, but I'm not paying for them to continue to die or to be bred into existence to die, right? Yeah, yeah. So as someone who says they're against animal abuse and they know which industries are abusing animals, what do you think you could do if you don't want to abuse animals anymore?
Don't buy from supermarkets and shit like that. Don't buy from
I mean,
consumers.
That's obvious.
do you think buying non-animal products from supermarkets is causing abuse to animals, or if I wanted to buy potatoes or something, does that necessitate animal abuse, would you say? No, of course not, right? So we can buy products that aren't from animals in order to live a lifestyle that doesn't abuse animals, right? Yeah, and that's pretty much the solution if you don't want to be responsible for animal abuse, eh?
But I mean, like,
Yeah.
in reality, that's never going to happen.
In reality, I would obviously, not everyone is going to stop causing harm, but would you say that's a justification for yourself to cause harm in any case?
No, because you can still be the first step to that not happening.
Exactly, exactly, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Something to think about, eh?
definitely.
Yeah, just remember that until the day that you do go vegan, that animals will be abused because of your choices though. So think about what your actions say about the values that you guys have told me you have being against animal abuse, especially 100%.
We can't control that, you know, like,
You can control the actions you take, of course.
You can control the actions that you take for yourself, but you can't control the actions around
Of course
people
not.
doing that.
Of course not. I can't stop other people from murdering each other, but I can stop myself from murdering someone, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And in the same way,
That's just where the law comes in, I guess, as well.
exactly, that's ultimately my end goal of what I would like is for all sentient life just to have the basic right to not be killed for any unnecessary reason. Just bare bones, not be exploited for any of their products. That case will only happen in a world where people don't think that animals are here to solely provide for us. Instead, they're here just like we are, just as earthlings. But it's up to you what world you guys want to create with your actions from now on, since you are aware of what's going on now. So yeah, I'd encourage you to live the values that you say you have instead of just saying them. Yeah. Cool. But thank you very much for the conversation, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.